Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hey. Does ignorance excuse guilt? It's a question that came to mind on this morning, October 13th, 2023. And I took the time this morning to write down the thoughts, which I'm basically going to read and share with you. In the course of living over 53 years, it hasn't been until the fall of 2021 I began to become aware that every interaction I have with another human being impacts the lives of those interacting with a ripple effect. What Mike Filsaime describes as butterfly marketing is the essence of human interaction. The impact a butterfly has in flapping his wings is similar to the impact a living human being has by flapping their gums. The breath, words, and actions of the individual are tools, which are sometimes harmful to others, sometimes more harmful and more lingering than halitosis or passing gas in a room with no circulation. With all the fuss and use of AI and GPT, I posed the question to GPT, and it goes as follows. I entered the prompt, does ignorance excuse guilt? Why or why not? The response it gave me is that ignorance doesn't necessarily excuse guilt, but it can impact the degree of responsibility one may bear for their actions. The principle, ignorance of the law is no excuse, is often applied in legal systems, implying that everyone is expected to know and understand the law. If ignorance were to be accepted as an excuse, it could potentially lead to chaos, as anyone could claim ignorance to avoid the consequences of their actions. However, there are circumstances where ignorance may mitigate guilt, particularly when the individual genuinely had no way of knowing their action was wrong or harmful. In such cases, it might be more productive to focus on education and prevention rather than punishment. Ultimately, the relationship between ignorance and guilt is complex and can depend on a variety of factors, including the circumstances, the intent behind the action, and the system of ethics or law being applied. What I did next was I entered another prompt into ChatGPT. The prompt that I entered in says, please explain answer at 10th grade reading level in detail with 3 examples. Here's the response that ChatGPT gave me. Okay, let's break this down a bit further. When we talk about ignorance and guilt, we're basically questioning whether or not knowing something justifies or excuses a wrongful act. Generally, the answer is no. Ignorance does not excuse guilt, but there could be exceptions. Consider these 3 examples. 1, legal system. Let's say you're driving in a new city and you accidentally turn the wrong way down a one-way street because you didn't see the sign. A police officer sees you and gives you a ticket. Even though you didn't know it was a one-way street, you're still held responsible for breaking the traffic law. This is a common principle in legal systems where ignorance of the law is no excuse. The second example, school rules. Imagine you're new to a school and you wear a hat in class, not knowing it's against the school's dress code. You might be reprimanded by a teacher, even though you genuinely didn't know the rule. However, your ignorance might be taken into account and you may just get a warning instead of a more severe punishment. The third example, cultural norms. Suppose you're visiting a foreign country and you accidentally break a cultural norm, like wearing shoes inside a home where it's considered disrespectful. People might be upset, but they may also understand that you didn't know their customs and forgive you. In all these situations, ignorance doesn't completely excuse the action, but it can influence how others respond to the mistake. It's always important to try to educate ourselves about the rules and norms in different contexts to avoid such situations. But mistakes can still happen. The key is learning from them and trying not to repeat them. On that note, it is important. It is important to also be helpful. For example, if someone is coming to my home, visit me for the first time, and I don't want them wearing shoes, it is my responsibility to inform them, please take, or ask them to please take off your shoes. We don't wear shoes. In that same instance, if they don't like walking barefooted or on their socks, it is, and I know I'm going to have visitors, it would be helpful to be able to have some slippers or something for a person to put on their feet, knowing the main point is that it's important to inform a person as far as what the rules are. If a person is new in an environment and they don't know the rules, or you don't tell them the rules, and how can they know what the rules are? And when I say the rules, this applies in any and every situation, even in having a conversation with a person. It's a, there are rules to communication. And if something happens if something comes up where the person is being disrespectful and you did not inform them of this prior to it happening, it is important and considerate to share with them and make them aware what they said or did that you found disrespectful. It is at that moment and in giving them information that you educate them and allow them the opportunity to now have the knowledge, and the ignorance of that is then removed. If they proceed, however, how they choose to respond will tell you whether or not they respect you. I went on to finish writing saying that there are influential people in our lives. Some of these influential people are influential because of their role or a position. The impact I have on and in another person's life is not excused because I am ignorant of it. In some ways, ignorance is like pain medication. It blocks the consciousness of pain. As soon as the medication wears off, the pain is felt or realized. In this instance, a person may say that the pain came back. I cannot make you do or be anything. My point is that I apologize. Please forgive me. Help me help us have better interactions socially, personally, and professionally. Let us seek clarity and verify with honesty, integrity, and value, respect of one another. At least this is where I am coming from and where I am at this point in my life. The mindset, one's frame of reference, the thoughts, feelings, words, and actions of the individual, of myself, as I interact with others, whether in this video, personally, social media, etc. I'm responsible for my actions. I'm responsible for the interpretation of your actions, of your I'm responsible for my interpretation of you in our interaction. It is important for me not to jump to conclusions, not to make assumptions. It is important to me to seek clarity and to verify if what I'm hearing and understanding is correct. I acknowledge and admit that I'm not a perfect person. I do not seek to be a perfect person. I am not a perfectionist. It is important to me to be a better person, to be the best person that I can be, so that I can fulfill my purpose to educate, to empower, and to encourage in this journey of mindset mastery. Mindset mastery is really, and so I'm learning to take ownership of myself, my thoughts, my feelings, my words, and my actions, which is allowing me to have discipline, stewardship, mindset management. All of these things are important to me. I want to encourage you to influence and lead responsibly. Ignorance doesn't excuse guilt. Thank you. Until next time.